want to take the IELTS exam, or maybe you just want to improve your English writing skill. It doesn't matter. If you want to improve your English writing skill dramatically, watch this video to the end. Hello, my name is Maddie from POC English. In this lesson, I'm going to share 7 tips to take your English writing skill to the next level. But before we start, let me tell you something. One of the best standards of evaluating your writing skill is the band descriptor of IELTS. The band descriptor is a list of criteria which shows the important elements of a good piece of writing. So, in this video, I will use the band descriptor of IELTS as the basis for my tips and suggestions on improving your writing skill. Okay, time to start with the first tip. Start with sentences. This tip is very obvious, as the building block of every text is the sentence. So, improving your sentences directly means improving your text. But how can you improve your sentences? Here, grammar and vocabulary play key roles. In fact, looking at the IELTS band descriptor, you can see that 50% of your mark of writing skill is dedicated to grammar and vocabulary or lexical resources. When we talk about grammar, we're talking about range and accuracy. What is grammar range? Well, it is the variety of grammatical structures you use, using different tenses or using complex sentences. And what is accuracy? Accuracy means the correct use of grammar and avoiding mistakes. So clearly, the first step towards better writing skill is improving your grammar and vocabulary. In fact, one of the biggest mistakes students who want to take part in the IELTS exam make is to start by learning the techniques of the IELTS exam. However, the first step should be improving your general English knowledge, vocabulary, and grammar. So that was the first tip. Improve your vocabulary and grammar to improve your sentences. Tip number 2 is about the choice of vocabulary and style of writing. Look at these 3 sentences. Sentence 1. Shoes are designed to be destroyed one day, so that you will need to buy another pair. Sentence 2. The design philosophy of shoes includes their short lifespan so as to create the urgency of replacement. And the third sentence. It's part of companies' scheme of planned obsolescence to sell merchandise with limited lifespan. All the 3 sentences have one meaning. So which one is better? Well, you might say the third one or the second one is better than the first one, right? But it's not that way. All 3 can be good. It really depends on your audience. Who are you writing for? Are you writing to a friend of yours? Maybe you're writing for a magazine or a newspaper, or you want to post it on a website, or maybe you are taking the IELTS or TOEFL exam or any other English exams. Depending on your goal or your audience, you can use any of the 3 options. However, very important point, don't mix them up together. If you are writing to a friend of yours, stick to the friendly tone. If you are writing for a magazine or a newspaper, stick to the formal tone. If you are taking part in the IELTS exam or a TOEFL exam, in the writing section, stick to your academic tone. So, tip number 2 is to keep the style and vocabulary coherent. Alright, time for the third tip. Give feelings to your sentences using adjectives and adverbs. Let me give you a very simple example. Look at this sentence. The driver drives. Now, driver here is a noun and can be described by an adjective. Drive is a verb and can be described with an adverb. So, instead of saying the driver drives, I can say the angry driver drives angrily, or the careful driver drives carefully. You see, the meaning of the sentence and the feeling of the sentence changes accordingly. So try to use adjectives to describe nouns and use adverbs to describe verbs. Let me give you another example of a longer sentence. Look at this one. Our hotel room in the city of Venice had a view of the sea. Let's take a look at the nouns here. We have the hotel room, city, view, and sea. We have 4 nouns. Let's use 4 adjectives to give some feelings to this sentence. I can say magnificent hotel room. I can say exquisite city. I can say spectacular view. And I can say beautiful sea. Let's read the sentence again. Our magnificent hotel room in the exquisite city of Venice had a spectacular view of the beautiful sea. You see? Or here's another example with using adverbs. He was walking and talking on the phone. So we have 2 verbs, walk and talk. Let's try to describe them using adverbs of manner. He was walking calmly and talking quietly on the phone. Or in another way, he was walking fast and talking angrily on the phone. You see, the same sentence with 2 different sets of adverbs can send 2 different messages to your audience. So tip number 3, use adverbs and adjectives to give feelings to your sentences. Tip number 4, use linking devices to connect your sentences and form paragraphs. Let's have another look at the band descriptor of IELTS. 25% of your writing mark is about coherence and cohesion. What are coherence and cohesion? Coherence is how well your ideas are linked and connected throughout your piece of writing or your text. If you are talking about the benefits of exercise, you might not want to talk about how monkeys eat bananas. That's just irrelevant. It's not coherent. The 2 ideas are not linked. Instead, you might want to talk about diet and pairing diet with exercise and how that can help to improve your health. What is cohesion? Cohesion is how well your sentences are linked to one another. So cohesion means how well each sentence is connected to the sentence after and before it. Look at these 3 sentences. People are really concerned about their health. Sentence 1. More and more fast food is being consumed. Sentence 2. Our lifestyle is becoming less active. Sentence 3. But what is the relationship between sentence 1 and 2 and between sentence 2 and 3? Well, the first sentence talks about the fact that people are worried about their health. Oh, we should stay healthy. We shouldn't do bad things. We shouldn't eat fast food. We should be more physically active. However, sentence 2 says something which is quite the opposite of sentence 1. Sentence 2 says that people are eating more and more fast food. So clearly this is a contrast. This is an opposite idea. How can I link the first sentence to the second? Well, I can use the phrase on the contrary or however. People are really concerned about their health. On the contrary, more and more fast food is being consumed. Now, what is the relationship between the second and the third sentence? The third sentence is adding another idea to the second sentence, right? It is in contrast with the first one, but it is an addition to the second one. So, in order to link the second and the third sentences, I can say, in addition, or additionally, or moreover. More and more fast food is being consumed. Moreover, our lifestyle is becoming less active. Now you see that the 3 sentences are linked together and they can form a cohesive paragraph.
Create an online store but not sure what to do next? With managed WooCommerce hosting from Hostinger, you can skip the complex setup process and get straight to business. It's e-commerce hosting, but with more. Quickly and easily fill your site with search-friendly content and bespoke product descriptions written by our AI content creator. Increase sales and turn visitors into customers thanks to lightning-quick page loading speeds. Plus, there's plenty of room to grow whether you've got one product, hundreds, or
Paragraph. What are other linking devices? Well, we have linking devices of contrast, of purpose, of addition, adding new ideas, of result and consequence. There are many linking devices in English language. I will try to make another video on that. Before you move to tip number 5, let's have a break. If you want to receive the summary of this lesson and every other lesson when I post them on YouTube, you just need to give me your email address. How? Go to my website, pocenglish.com. Type in your email address and click subscribe. The link to my website is in the descriptions below. You will receive the PDF of the summary of every lesson I post on YouTube in your email address. And that's completely free. Time for tip number 5. Divide your ideas and arguments in different paragraphs. Talking about paragraphs, how do you know when to finish one paragraph and start a new one? How do you decide on where to start and end one paragraph? What is the logic? Well, to understand the logic, let's have a look at the band descriptor. Looking at the band descriptor, under coherence and cohesion, for band score 7, you can see presents a clear central topic within each paragraph. A clear central topic within each paragraph. So each paragraph should talk about one and only one central topic, not 2, not 3, not 4, just one central topic. So how do you decide when to finish one paragraph? When your central topic is over and you're going to talk about your second central topic. You shouldn't talk about 2 topics in one paragraph. So basically, you start a paragraph, you present your central topic, and then you support it, you provide examples, you talk about your experiences, maybe you provide some evidence from research, and then that's it. If you want to talk about something else, go to the second paragraph. Imagine you want to write an essay with the title, How to Live Longer. You may have 3 ideas: exercise, diet, and stress management. 3 ways to live longer. So how many paragraphs can I have? Well, I can have 3 paragraphs with 3 central topics. First paragraph about the benefits of exercising. Second paragraph about the importance of diet. Third paragraph about the necessity of stress management. And tip number 6, have an evidence-based tone. What do I mean? Look at this sentence. Having a more active lifestyle leads to better health. This is clear, right? It's a fact. We all know that if we do some physical activity, we will be healthier, right? So instead of just stating the fact, try to sound evidence-based. You can use this phrase in the beginning. Research shows that. So instead of saying having a healthier lifestyle may or might lead to a better health, you can say research shows that having a more active lifestyle will lead to better health. Or research suggests that. You can also use this phrase. There is evidence to suggest that. Now, compare these 3 sentences. Having a more active lifestyle leads to better health. Research shows or research suggests that having a more active lifestyle leads to better health. There is evidence to suggest that having a more active lifestyle leads to better health. You see, the second and the third one sound very academic. So you can use this little technique. Try to add these 2 phrases. Research shows that, research suggests that, or there is evidence to suggest that, to the beginning of your sentences, which are facts. In this way, you will sound firm, strong, and evidence-based. And it feels more academic, right? And the final tip, which is a very simple tip, but it is often ignored. Revise your text. Make sure you have enough time to go through your text again. by reading your text for a second time, and if possible, aloud, you will be able to recognize the little teeny tiny grammar mistakes or maybe big grammar mistakes you have made, or to correct some choice of vocabulary or the tone and style of your essay. This stage is very important. Make sure you have at least 5 minutes to go through your text for a second time. And that's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. Make sure you use these tips to improve your writing skill. And let me know what you think in the comments below. See you.
Learn valuable business and IT skills in your own time and at your own pace with HP Life, a free.
If you want to practice your English for free, watch this video to the end. Hello, my name is Maddie from POC English, and in this video, I am going to introduce 10 online tools that you can use to practice your English for free. Let's begin with the tools. The first tool is the most basic and fundamental tool a language learner must be able to use: a dictionary. A dictionary can tell you the meaning of a word, example sentences, the pronunciation of the word, whether in American or British accent, and some extra information, such as whether the word you're looking up is countable, uncountable, formal, informal, and some extra information. My favorite dictionary is Cambridge Online Dictionary, which is extremely useful and very easy to use. Let me show you how to use Cambridge Online Dictionary. Go to dictionary.cambridge.org. This is one of the best online dictionaries you can ever find. Then type in the word you want to look up, click enter, and there you go. Here's the word. Here's the meaning of the word. And you can see a couple of examples. You can have the British pronunciation,
Crime.
the American pronunciation,
Crime.
You see that this word is a noun, and you see a small u, which means this is an uncountable noun with this meaning. Of course, crime can also be countable, but with a different meaning, slightly different. You see C, which means countable, an illegal act. And then looking at the first example, he has admitted committing several crimes. So you see, an illegal act, countable. Illegal activities in general, uncountable. And you can see lots of different examples. You see the parts which are bold? These parts are different collocations you can use with this word. For example, crime is the word, commit is a verb you can use with the word crime. Accuse of or charge with. These are different collocations. Crime wave, crime rate, serious crime, violent crime. A dictionary can help you with single words, but not everything is about single words. Natural English consists of the ways in which words interact with each other, the way certain words sit together or flow together to make a natural English sentence. A group of words that often go together is called a collocation. For example, the word crime is a noun. What adjectives can you use with the word crime? Horrible? Horrific? Violent? What verbs can you use with the word crime? Commit, right? Can I say carry out crime? Is it possible to say do crime? How can we find out the collocations of a certain word? How can we understand what adjectives or what verbs or what nouns often go together? Well, you can use an online collocation dictionary. My favorite online collocation dictionary is Ozdig. Let me show you how to work with this website. Go to ozdig.com, ozdic.com, and then look up the word you want to find the collocations for. Crime, which means illegal act. These are different adjectives you can use with the word crime. You can say it's a horrible crime, horrific crime, serious, terrible, vicious. And an example, one of the most horrific crimes of recent time, blah, 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 You can say big crime, major crime, lesser, minor, petty, real, violent, non-violent, perfect, and there's a long list of adjectives you can use with lots of different examples. Then, apart from adjectives, there are some verbs you can use with the word crime. Carry out crime, commit crime, or report a crime. You can use crime before a verb, but what verb involves something? Crimes involving firearms. Or be punishable by something. Crimes punishable by death. Now this was just one example. You can look up any word you want to find out what adjectives and what verbs collocate with that word. You can use an online dictionary to check out the pronunciation of a word, whether in American or British accent, right? You can play the pronunciation, listen to it, and then try to repeat, right? But how can you check whether your pronunciation is correct? Let me show you a very simple, very useful online tool that can help you practice your pronunciation and to see if you are pronouncing different words correctly or incorrectly. Let's go. Go to Google and search for definition. The dictionary opens. You can look up the word you want, and we're not going to look at the definition and the synonyms or whether it's informal or formal. Now, this is not the information we are looking for. What we are looking for is this blue button. Click crime, and you hear the pronunciation. Now, click on Learn to Pronounce. This is the part with which you can practice your pronunciation. You see, crime. Okay? You play
Crime.
and you also see the movement of the lips.
Crime.
Now, what you need to do is to click Practice Crime. See? Good job. However, if you mispronounce the word, this is what will happen. Grim.
Even as a working designer, I found new things on this Udemy course, which I got to explore for this paid collaboration. It's the Web and Mobile Designer course, and it goes deep into structure, spacing, typography, and systems thinking. It helped me sharpen how I approach layout and UI logic, things I thought I'd already mastered but hadn't fully connected. It made my work cleaner, more intentional, and easier to communicate with developers. Beginner or not, this course levels you up. I absolutely recommend you check out this course on udemy.com.
आपको लगता है कि हेयरफॉल सबसे ज़्यादा आपके अपीयरेंस को डैमेज करता है? नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं। पर्सनैलिटी को? नॉट इवन दैट। हेयरफॉल सबसे ज़्यादा आपके कॉन्फिडेंस को डैमेज करता है। रोज़ सुबह दोपहर शाम यू फील दैट लॉस। एक छोटी सी फीलिंग कि कुछ चला गया है। आप बालों में हाथ फेरते हैं और बाल हाथ में आ जाते हैं। ब्रश करते हैं तो बाल उलझ जाते हैं।
You see, instead of crim, I should say cry. All right, thanks for the tip. Crime. Good job. You can also slow down the pronunciation.
Crime. Crime.
Or speed it up.
Crime.
You can also change the accent.
Crime.
But pay attention, when you put it on British pronunciation, you don't have the option of practice anymore. The practice is only active for the American pronunciation. Now, it is time to work on your listening skills. As an English student, you must be able to understand both American accent and British accent. One of the best ways of improving your listening skill is by listening to podcasts. So first, let's begin with British podcasts. There are many podcasts available on the internet, but the best and the most standard British podcast I have ever seen is the BBC 6 Minutes English podcast. Let me show you how to use BBC 6 Minutes English podcast to improve your listening of the British accent. Let's go. On Google, search BBC 6 Minute English Podcasts and click on the first link, which is bbc.co.uk. Here, you can select your language. I'm going to put this on English. And you will will see the list of podcasts available on this website. Click on whichever you like. For example, Restoring Trust in Science. You can play the podcast, download the PDF, or download the audio. Let's play it.
6 minutes English.
At the same time, I want to download the PDF and have a look. This is the PDF. This is the transcript of what they say on the podcast. This is extremely helpful. Now, if you scroll down and go to the end of this PDF, you will see the vocabulary, the key vocabulary of that particular podcast. Cosmology, double check, duplicate, blah, 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 blah. And you can learn the new vocabulary as well. But that was British. How about an American accent podcast? If you are an admirer of the American accent, like me, you can use VOA podcasts. Let me show you how to use the VOA podcasts to improve your listening skill of the American accent. Let's see. On Google, search VOA podcasts and click on the first link, which is learningenglish.voanews.com. Now, you can select whichever podcast you like. For example, I'm going to go health and lifestyle. Let's see what they have in this category. All right. And I'm going to click on how to protect against monkeypox, which is a very common issue these days. Now, what I can do is to play the audio.
The fast-spreading monkeypox virus
At the
led
same
the
time, I
World
can
Health
follow the text.
Organization to declare a public health emergency of international concern this month.
You can also download the audio. Okay, I introduced two podcasts, VOA for American English and BBC for British English. But do you know how to use these podcasts to improve your listening skill effectively? A few months ago, I made a video about how to improve your listening skill by listening to podcasts. You can click on this link over here and watch that video after this one. All right, let's move on to tool number 6. Now it is time to work on your writing skill. A very important aspect of writing skill is grammar. When you are writing a text or when you have written a text, there are many online tools you can use to check whether your grammar is good or bad, whether there are any grammatical inaccuracies or not. Let me introduce you one of my favorite grammar checkers online. This is my favorite online grammar checker, Quilba. You can work with this. This is extremely fun to use, easy to use, and you don't need to upgrade it if you have short paragraphs you want to check. But if you have a long text, you might need to upgrade to premium. Now, let's test it. Well, let me write down a sentence with a grammatical error. She didn't knew he has, or let's say have, no monies. Let's see. Okay, she didn't knew. That's right. We should say she didn't know. He had, of course, because we're talking about the past. No monies? Money is not countable, so we should say money. This is a very interesting tool to use. And pay attention to the address, quillbot.com/grammar-check. Checking your grammar is very important. But do you know what's even more important? Learning grammar. I made a video about the best way of learning English grammar. You can click here, watch the video after this one. Let's continue. The next online tool I'm going to introduce is again about your writing skill. A very important skill in writing is paraphrasing. Paraphrasing basically means saying the same thing in a different way, but with the same meaning. Look at this example. We love plants because they produce oxygen and clean our air. Now, I want to paraphrase this sentence, keeping the meaning but changing the structure. Look at this one. Producing oxygen and purifying the air are among the reasons why trees are loved. So you see, basically the meaning of these two sentences is the same, but in the second sentence, we see that instead of clean, we have used purify. Using synonyms is one way of paraphrasing. You can see that the order of the sentence is different, right? Producing oxygen is in the beginning of the sentence, so changing the order of the sentence is also another way of paraphrasing. And you can see a minor change in the grammatical structure of the sentence. There is a passive voice here, so the first sentence says, "We love trees." The second sentence says, "Trees are loved." Passive. There are many different ways to paraphrase a sentence or a paragraph, right? But are there any online tools that can help us paraphrase? Yes, let me show you. The online paraphraser I'm going to introduce is again Quillbot, but this time quillbot.com. So you write down the sentence here and you will be able to see the paraphrased version of your text. For example, let me go to VOA and copy one paragraph. I want to paraphrase this. So I go back to the paraphrasing tool, I paste it here, and then I click paraphrase, and you will see the changes the system makes on the paragraph. So instead of starting with WHO Director General blah 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 blah, it starts with the outbreak has continued to develop. Now, you see develop has a different color. It's because develop is a synonym of a word in the original text. Now, if you click on the colored part of the text, you will see a set of alternatives, and then you can select whichever you think will best fit your paragraph. One thing I highly recommend doing is if you use this paraphraser tool, you can copy it, you can go to the free online grammar checker, and you can fix all errors to see if there are any mistakes.
Do you know? You can just sit at home and teach students online anywhere in the world. No matter your expertise, math, sciences, languages, or any subject, there is a student waiting to learn from you. At Beacon Tutors, we connect skilled tutors like you with eager students worldwide. With over 10 years of experience, we built a reputation for excellence with serving thousands of students across the world. And the best part, they cater to every grade and subject, making it easy to find the perfect math students for your skills. As the only recognized tuition agency by the Federal Code of Revenue, the Securities and Exchange Commission, we ensure trust, transparency, and endless opportunities. Why wait? Empower students, earn from home, and build brighter future, all while doing what you love. Click the button below and register yourself today.
The sea is wide open for marketing agencies. If you have a marketing agency or interested in starting one, listen to me. Most marketing agencies live in a red ocean. What is a red ocean? It's a market where agencies face intense competition. They can't stand out, they can't charge more, they can't differentiate themselves. But there is a way to reach the blue ocean. In this blue ocean, you have less competition. It's easier to make money. It's easier to scale. It's easier to sell. It's the easiest agency business model for scaling your agency to our $100,000 per month. I want to invite you to a free course called Blue Ocean of Agencies. There, I'll show you the strategies we use here and that my mentees also use to scale their agencies. It's completely free and online. So, sign up using the button below, and I'll see you there.
Any mistakes? Nothing. Next tool I'm going to introduce is about your speaking skill. To improve your speaking skill, you need to talk about a subject. But what subject? And what should I talk about? This website I'm going to introduce is going to give you a lot of different subjects with many interesting questions so that you will be able to talk about all of those. Let's see. Go to this website, esldiscussions.com, and you will see a long list, alphabetically ordered topics. For example, let's try to talk about shopping. There it is. Let's click on shopping, and you will see two sets of questions. Set 1 and set 2. Ignore the advertisements on these websites. Now, you see that the first set of questions is referred to as student A's questions. The second is referred to as student B's questions. So these are questions you can use in pairs to practice your speaking skill and have a conversation. For example, this topic is about shopping. What springs to mind when you hear the word shopping? And then student B has to answer, or your friend needs to reply. Then your friend will ask the same question. Question 1, do you like shopping? You see, the first question is different than the first question here. So overall, you see 20 different questions that you can talk about. For which topic? For this topic. Plus, you can download the PDF or the Word version of this page of these questions. And you can print them out. If you are a teacher, you can use these in your classroom activities. So you have many subjects and many questions to talk about. But if you don't have a partner, how are you going to practice? Or even if you have a partner, how are you going to practice speaking? Do you know the best way of practicing your speaking skill in English? I have made a video about that. You can click here, watch the video. Practicing English is not always about reading books and doing exercises which are boring and difficult. You can also practice by playing games, watching movies, and having fun. The next 2 tools I'm going to introduce are going to be really fun. But before that, you can use all these online tools to practice your English, but not to learn English. If you want to learn English, you can join my online courses. I have 3 courses for 3 different levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. By joining my online courses, you will learn grammar, you will improve your vocabulary, you will take lots of online quizzes and do lots of exercises to make sure you have learned correctly. Plus, soon we're going to have live online speaking sessions as a group. If you join today, you will enjoy 40% discount on all courses. Plus, you will be able to join the online speaking sessions as a group. And now it is time to get to the 2 last tools that I'm going to introduce in order to practice your English and have some fun. If you are a movie lover, you can have some fun practicing the new idioms, the new words, and the new collocations you have learned. Let's say you have learned a new idiom today, as busy as a bee, which means to be really busy. Do you know how I can understand which movies have used this idiom? Let me show you. Go to this website, yarn.co, and search for that idiom or that particular phrase you're looking for, the movies in which it has been used. For example, I'm going to say as busy as a bee and see what clips I can find. Busy as a bee. Busy as the proverbial bee. Busy as a bee. That little computer. Now, what you can do is you also see the name of this the TV series or the movie it has been used in. How I Met Your Mother, 2005, season 1, episode 7. You click on it, and you can watch that particular piece of the video in which this phrase has been used. That's very good. That's very fun. You can see different clips of different videos, different movies, different animated series or different cartoons in which that particular phrase has been used. Again. What about games? Playing computer games can help improve your English. But apart from computer games, there are some online games designed specifically for students of English to improve your skills. How? Let me show you a very interesting online tool, or let's say a very interesting website. This is a very interesting website that I have recently found on the web, gametolearnenglish.com. Interesting, right? All right, what do I want to do here? Let's practice past tense. Let's see what this game is. Start. Okay, I have 16 moves, and I have to, it's a matching game. So fly, past the fly is flew. Nice. Speak. Is it sat? Let's see. Past of speak is sat. No. Oh, I lost 1 move, and still wrong. So let's go to spoke. Correct. Again, I lost another move, but I earned some scores. Very interesting. What happens if you scroll down? Can we see other games? No, these are comments. So if I want to see other games, I have to go back. Yes. And then, for example, compare. What happens here? Let's see. Start. Play. All right, this is it dangerous? No. Is it fast? No. Beautiful, dirty. It's big.
An elephant is
Than a mouse. More big? No, bigger.
bigger than a mouse.
Ah, correct. That's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. Don't forget to use all these online tools I have introduced, and don't forget to join my online courses to start improving your English. See ya.
Whatever you do, it's better with a website. Introducing Hostinger Website Builder, the fast and easy website builder optimized for online success. Use the AI builder for even faster site creation. Input the description of the website you want and let AI do the rest. Or grab a template and drag and drop elements to perfection. Want to sell online? The website builder has a range of e-commerce features at zero commission. Start making money immediately. Need some help getting noticed? Fire up the AI SEO keyword generator to optimize your site for search engines fast. Craft a visual identity for your site with the AI logo maker and help it find its voice with the AI text generator. And check out the heat map. It'll show you how to grab your audience's attention. We're with you every step of the way. Hostinger Website Builder. It's easier done than said. 3, 2, online. Literally.
Why are you studying English? There might be many reasons. Maybe you are preparing for a job interview, a university admission interview, or perhaps you are planning to take the IELTS exam. In all these cases, you need to speak English fluently, accurately, and with confidence. In this video, I am going to give you some tips. Now, before you start, if you want to download my ultimate English book for free, you simply have to click on the link above my head. This book includes all the lesson summaries of my YouTube videos from day one with the link to the video, so you can watch the video and follow the lesson summary. This book has about 400 pages, and you also have review and note sheets, so that you know what you have learned from each lesson, and you can put a tick each time you review a lesson. You can also find the link in the description of this video. Also, at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you how to prepare for an interview in short time, so make sure you watch this lesson to the end. And now, let's start. Let me begin with an example. Yes, please, come on in. All right, you already came in. Please, have a seat. What did I do wrong? Well, first I entered the room without knocking or asking for permission. And look at what I am wearing. Could I be more informal? Then again, I didn't ask for permission to sit. Now, what I did was bad, but why? Because it ruined my first impression. And first impressions are very important when it comes to interviews. So here's tip number 1. Try to make a very good first impression. But how? Let's see another example. May I come in? Yes, please, come on in. Please, have a seat. Thank you. It's as simple as that. So here are a few tips that can help you make a good first impression. Number 1, show up on time. Now, you don't want to be late for sure, but at the same time, you don't want to be too early, as that suggests that you might not have more important things to do in your life. So I would recommend arriving 5 to 15 minutes before the interview. Not earlier and definitely not later. Number 2, knock on the door when you want to enter the room. That is very important. It shows that you are being polite and that you are respecting the other person. Number 3, wait for or ask for permission to sit on your chair. And number 4, dress for success. It's very important that you are wearing formal clothes. Now, here's a tricky one. Should you go for a handshake or not? I would say no, but why? It doesn't matter if it is an IELTS speaking session, a job interview, or a university admission interview. During COVID-19 outbreak, people became too aware of physical contact with other people. Therefore, you might make the other person uncomfortable by going for a handshake. Maybe they don't want to have physical contact with you. In that case, you might end up being embarrassed.
It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Well, good to meet you too. Please, have a seat. However, if the interviewer initiates the handshake, go for it. Otherwise, I would recommend a slight bow.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Now, if during the bow you smile and you tilt your head a little bit, that would show confidence.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Go, went, gone. See, saw, seen. Break, broke, broken. Eat, ate, eaten. Run, ran, run. Speak, spoke, spoken. Drive, drove, driven. Know, knew, known.
Everyone says I leave my mark everywhere I go. और मेरी पहचान है मेरे गिरते हुए बाल. That was me a few months ago, but up next because I added something in my daily routine and it instantly became my favorite. It is NutriFactors Biotin Plus. It has 2500 mcg biotin with folic acid. Both are essential B vitamins जो hair follicles को strengthen करके बालों की hair fall को कम करते हैं. Actually हमारी नानी और दादी बिल्कुल सही कहा करती थी कि असली खुराक तो उन्हीं के ज़माने में हुआ करती थी. So it's high time we start acknowledging the importance of good nutrition. Your hair deserves daily care, not damage control. So start now.
Now, what if the interview is online? Well, in that case, it'll be much easier because you don't have to knock on the door. There's no door. You don't have to ask for permission or wait for the permission to sit on the chair because there is no chair. Just wear smart clothes, show up on time, and make sure you have good background. Also, make sure you test the connection and sound before you start. Now remember, first impression is very important in any interview, whether IELTS speaking session, job interview, university admission interview, or any other kind of interview, because it helps form a good or positive image of you in the mind of the interviewer, and if you make a good impression, it will boost your confidence. Moving on to tip number 2, know what to expect. Now, before the interview, you need to do some homework. Now, if you are planning on preparing for the IELTS speaking test, this is what you should expect. The test will last from 11 to 14 minutes, and it will have 3 different parts. In the first part, you will have to answer questions about yourself, whether about your family, yourself, your job, your home, your neighborhood, your country, your studies, or your interests. Now, this part will take about
नहीं अभी नहीं बनाऊंगी
4 to 5 minutes. In the second part, you will be given a cue card. You will have 1 minute to think about what you want to say and to take some notes, and then you will have to talk for about 1 to 2 minutes. Now, pay attention. IDP recommends talking for the entire 2-minute period until the examiner stops you. But anywhere between 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes is acceptable. Just make sure you finish all the key points and you cover everything before you hit the 2-minute limit. Otherwise, you will miss the points. Now, after you finish your 2-minute talk, the examiner will ask you 1 or 2 follow-up questions about what you just said. Then you will move to part 3, where you will be asked more abstract questions, which are linked to the topic of part 2. This part will also last about 4 to 5 minutes. Now, the assessment of your speaking skill is based on 4 factors: your fluency and coherence, your pronunciation, your lexical resources, or let's put it simply, vocabulary, and your grammatical range and accuracy. However, if you are not planning to take the IELTS test but you are preparing for a job interview, you must study about the company and about the position you are applying for, and you must be prepared to answer these questions. Why have you chosen this company? Why are you applying for this role? What are your personal qualifications that make you good for this role? Why should we consider you? And what are your salary expectations? These 4 questions are an inseparable part of job interviews, so you must prepare for them. In case you're preparing for a university admission interview, you must be ready to answer questions such as, why have you chosen this university? If this university is in another country, why this country? Why are you applying for this particular course? What qualifications do you have that make you right for this course? What are your plans after graduation? And maybe they ask about your means of funding, like how are you going to fund your studies at this university in this country? Moving on to tip number 3, body language. Now, don't get me wrong, you are never assessed based on your body language. What I mean is that there is no criteria in the IELTS speaking test asking for your body language. Or if you are attending a job interview or a university admission interview, nobody is going to judge you based on your body language. However, your body language is just as important as what you say. It is not just about what you say, it's about how you say it. Let me show you some examples.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. That's an interesting question. That's an interesting question. That's an interesting question.
Body language can help you demonstrate confidence.
I hadn't thought of that. I hadn't thought of that, but
It is very important to use the right body language. Now, here are some tips. Don't slouch. Sit up straight. Never cross your arms. That's defensive. Show interest with facial expressions. Nod to say you understand the questions. Don't lean backwards. Lean slightly forward. Maintain eye contact, but don't stare. Tip number 4, ask for repeating or clarification. Imagine you don't understand the question or the meaning of a word in a question. Now, you will have 2 options. Either to guess the meaning and then come up with an answer, or to ask for clarification. Now, if you try to guess the meaning of that question or that word and then come up with an answer, your answer has a very high chance of being inaccurate. This will show that you are either a bad listener or that your knowledge is very limited. On the other hand, if you ask for clarification, this is what will happen. The examiner or the interviewer will repeat the question or explain that word. Then you will understand it and you will come up with an accurate answer. Now, here is a tricky point. Some students are afraid of asking for clarifications and they think that they might lose marks, but this is not going to happen. If you don't understand the question, you can ask the examiner to repeat. Or, if you don't understand the word in a question, you can ask the examiner to clarify or explain that word to you. But pay attention, you can use this once only. Don't use it twice, 3 times, 4 times, as it shows that you don't understand some words and you have limited knowledge. So use it wisely, once only. Even if you are having a job interview or a university admission interview, it never hurts to ask for clarification so that you know exactly what the question was before you attempt to answer. Tip number 5, listen and don't interrupt. Never interrupt the interviewer or the examiner, even if you understood the question. Let the examiner or let the interviewer finish asking the question, and then you can start coming up with an answer. Okay, about your last university, I wanted to know if...
Yeah, my previous university was Politecnico di Milan. I chose it based on its reputation.
Okay, but I wanted to ask you about your GPA, not why you chose that university. Okay, enough with the tips. Now here's a very important question. How can you prepare for a job interview, a university admission interview, or the IELTS exam in short time? Imagine you are asked to have an interview in less than a week. So you will have about 6 to 7 days. Do you think it's possible to improve your English significantly in the period of 6 to 7 days? No. Well, you can have minor improvements, but you cannot improve it dramatically. So what can you do if you are given 6 to 7 days to prepare for an interview? You have to take 3 steps. Step 1 is to make a list of common questions. Now, you can go online, go on Google, and then search for the most common questions regarding that particular interview you are going to have. For example, if it's a job interview or a university admission interview or any other kinds of interviews. Step 2, after you make the list, what you need to do is to write down very good answers to those questions. And step 3, memorize your answers and practice. Practice and practice. Now you might think that memorizing is not a good option. Well, pay attention, you have a limitation. You only have 6 days. What else can you do? So, your best chance of preparing for an interview in 6 to 7 days is by memorizing some good answers. Now, if during the interview you are asked the exact question, you're lucky because you have already memorized the answer for it. However, if you are asked a different question, here's where it gets tricky. So you will have to use the answers you have memorized to come up with a new answer. You will try to mix and match the things you have memorized, and that will definitely help you in short time. However, the best option overall is that if you have time, work on your general English and English speaking skill. Do you want me to make a video on common IELTS speaking questions or job interview questions or university admission interview questions? Well, that depends on the number of views of this video and the number of likes and comments. We'll see. Have a good day. In this lesson, we're going to talk about something very important. How to learn new words so that you can use them when speaking in English. Hello, my name is Maddie from POC English. Hello, my name is Maddie from POC English and welcome to another lesson. One of the most important things that we should do, and a lot of students are trying to do, is to learn new words and then use the words that they have learned when they are speaking or writing. So it's very basic. Learn new words, use them in speaking or writing. But it's not as simple as that. I'm pretty sure you know. In fact, most of the students who are trying to improve their vocabulary are struggling with this. But don't worry, because in this video, I will take you through a step-by-step guide so that you can learn new words and eventually use them when you are speaking or writing in English. Part 1. Where to learn words from. One of the mistakes students make is just to see some words, write down the translation in their mother tongue, and then try to memorize that. But learning individual words is not helpful at all. It's a waste of time. In order to learn the words, you need to have a context. A context will help you see how the words are actually used within a text or a speech. So there are three main sources that you can learn words from. You can use text-based sources, audio-based sources, or video-based sources. Let's start with the first one, text-based. If you like reading books, there are many good vocabulary books out there. One of the best ones that I always recommend is Oxford Word Skills. There are three levels to this book: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. This book offers a topic-based approach and presents vocabulary within clear context. Plus, you can choose the book depending on what level you have: beginner, intermediate, or advanced. Next thing you can do if you like reading text is using blog articles. In fact, on my website, you can find a lot of different blog articles in which I've tried to teach you certain words. I've tried to provide very good context for the vocabulary I've tried to teach you. Go to pocenglish.com/blog or click on blog here. And then you can see all the blog posts that I have written for you, 7 pages. Wow. Click on one which is about vocabulary, for instance, 54 business English vocabulary. You can see the video here, you can watch it if you like. Jobs and you can read the text. As you can see, I've explained everything. I've used diagrams, pictures, sometimes some short videos for you to make it really fun and easy to understand. If you want to read some of my blog posts, you can simply click on the link above my head and go to pocenglish.com/blog. Another thing you can do is to read graded readers. What are graded readers? These are classic storybooks whose level has been adjusted for students. So you can find books that suit your level. A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. Depending on what level you have, you can choose one of the storybooks, you can read them, and you can underline the new words that you think are useful for you. Now, if you don't like texts, but you prefer audio, you can use podcasts. Podcasts are excellent resources for you to learn new words because they provide clear context, and you can usually find a lot of different podcasts out there with different accents and for different levels.
This is your sign to study abroad with the Duolingo English test. Take the Duolingo English test now and spend your summer stress-free. Like me, no test centers, no long lines. It only takes 1 hour and you can do it anywhere. By the time you hit the beach, you'll already have your results. And you can start applying to college in no time. Plus, it's
your context, and you can usually find a lot of different podcasts out there with different accents and for different levels. For example, if you like the British accent, you can use BBC 6 Minutes English podcasts. They usually come with an audio file and a PDF file of the transcript. That way, not only can you listen, but you can also follow and underline the new words that you want to learn. If you search for 6 Minutes English by BBC Learning English, you can find this website. I will also leave the link in the description of the video. You can come here, click on one of the topics that you like. For example, I'm going to go for eating for two. And then here, you have a video here, you got a PDF and an audio file. I want to download the audio and click on the PDF to see what it is. And there you go, you have the transcript. You can follow the transcript while listening to the audio file. And you can see some of the words are already bold. That means these are the new words. And I think towards the end of this document, you can find the meaning of these words. Yes, vocabulary. This is an excellent resource for learning words. But if you like to have an American accent podcast, you can use Voice of America, VOA. Similar to BBC podcast, for VOA you can find the audio and the transcript PDF file. If you search for VOA podcasts on Google, you can find the link to this page, but I will also leave the link in the description of this video. Here you can see a lot of different topics, you can say a little more, and you can have a lot of different options to choose from. I'm going to choose the first.
VOA1, the hit.
There you go. You have an audio file here, and let's see if they have the PDF. They used to have one. I don't see it here. Probably they don't have a PDF file, but you can can download the audio. This is an excellent American English podcast. Another method that you can use, which I think is quite fun, is using music to improve your vocabulary. Who's your favorite singer? Choose a singer that you like. Then choose one song that you like. Then listen to the song and check the lyrics. While listening and checking the lyrics, you can also sing along if you know how to sing along with that song, and then underline the new words that you see. For example, one of my favorite singers is Krista Berg, and one of the songs that I really like is called Lady in Red. But what about videos? Well, if you are a visual person, that means a person who learns by seeing. Videos are great resources. There are many creators out there on YouTube and you can follow their videos. For example, on my channel you can find a lot of videos in which I've tried to teach you new words, phrases, phrasal verbs, or idioms. You can watch those videos and take notes of the new words that you learn. Alright, so far we know that to learn new words we need a context, and to get the context we can use text, audio, or video-based resources. But, and there's an important but, the words that you learn at this stage are added to the passive vocabulary knowledge. Passive vocabulary? What is passive vocabulary? And do we have active vocabulary? Part 2. Passive versus active vocabulary. Passive vocabulary is like this. If you see the word somewhere, or if you hear it, or if you watch it, or if you read it anywhere, you may remember the meaning, but when you are trying to speak or write, you cannot use it. This is passive. So you may know the meaning back in your head, but you cannot use it. However, active vocabulary, on the other hand, is the words that you have learned before and you frequently use them to communicate. That means you frequently use them in speaking or writing. Now, which one is better? Of course, you would try to make your passive vocabulary active. And this is the key. If you want to be able to use the words that you have learned when you are communicating, you need to make them active. Now, here's an important thing to know. You learn new words, they're added to the passive vocabulary knowledge, and then if you don't practice, what will happen? You will forget. You will forget the words, and then again, you will use text or audio or video, learn new words, add them to your passive knowledge, and then again, don't practice and forget, and then again, you go around and around and around in circles. You will get caught in this vicious cycle of learning new words and then forgetting them, and learning and forgetting, and learning and forgetting, and this is really frustrating for students. You may feel like I'm doing something wrong, or that the language is very difficult, or that I'm not smart enough, but none of these is true. You are just not trying to make the passive word active. But how will you do that? There are 3 things you should do. Part 3, how to activate. In order to make your passive vocabulary active, you need to do 3 things. WPR, write, practice, review. Start with write. It goes without saying that when you learn new words, you need to write them down. Otherwise, how are you going to remember what the words were? But how will you write them down? This is very tricky and very important. For instance, let's say I want to read a text, and from this text I'm going to learn some new words. Look at the text. Within this text, I have identified some words that I want to learn. Exercise, health, fitness, strength, cardio, wellness, relationships, friendship, support, communication, trust, quality time, loyalty, affection, connection, nutrition, love, understanding, empathy. Now it's time to write down these words, and something that I've seen a lot of students do is this. Exercise, relationships, wellness, support, cardio, affection, love, empathy, endurance, strength. What is wrong with this method? These are all random words written together, right? I mean, yes, they come from the same text and from the same context, but there is no clear link between the words. For example, what's the link between exercise and relationship? Or between empathy and strength? However, another way that you can take notes and write down the words is this. I have identified 2 categories: health and fitness, family, friendship, and relationships. Under health and fitness, I will write exercise, strength, endurance, cardio, and wellness. Under family, friends, and relationships, I would write loyalty, communication, trust, affection, and empathy. What I've done is so simple. I've just categorized them. right, under certain topics. Now, what you can see is a group of words that have a strong link. There is a common theme, there is a common thread that connects all these words together. This is called learning words in a topic-based approach. So you select a topic, and under that topic, you list the words related. In this way, in your brain, you can easily categorize them, and next time you're talking about health and fitness, you will remember all the words that you've written. It will help you remember them more easily. So step 1 was writing. Step 2 is practice. How will you practice? At the end of each word list, at the end of each topic vocabulary list that you've written, it is a good idea to write a small sentence or a small paragraph, trying to use as many of those words and phrases as you can. For example, at the end of my list, under health and fitness, I'm going to write a sentence like this. Regular exercise is key to improving strength, endurance, and cardio health, leading to overall wellness. As you can see, it's just a sentence, but in this sentence I've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the new words. Similarly, under family, friends, and relationships, I'm going to write something like this. Loyalty is built on open communication, trust, and real affection. And that's how we develop empathy. Again, in this one sentence, I have used loyalty, communication, trust, affection, and empathy. 5 of the new words that I have written down. Now, what does this help you with? First, you practice using the words that you have learned in written form.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम दोस्तों, प्ले स्टोर पर एक नई एप्लीकेशन आ गई है जो कि टिकटॉक और स्नैक वीडियो का बाप निकला है। दोस्तों, जिस तरह आप टिकटॉक और स्नैक पर वीडियोस देखकर पैसे कमा सकते हैं, इस तरह आप इस ऐप पर भी वीडियोस को देखकर पैसे कमा सकते हैं। ये चेक करें, मैंने यानी कि 1-2 मिनट काम कर 35 रुपए कमाए हैं। तो फौरन आप अपने पैसे इजी पैसा जैस कैश के अंदर विड्रॉ कर सकते हैं। इतना आसान से आप काम कर इस ऐप से काफ़ी ज़्यादा अच्छी अर्निंग कर सकते हैं। दोस्तों, प्ले स्टोर पर इसके 1 मिलियन से भी ज़्यादा डाउनलोड्स हैं। ठीक है, ये चेक करें दोस्तों, सिंपल आपने इस तरह वीडियोस देखते जाना है, आपको पैसे मिलते जाएंगे। इस तरह इतना ज़्यादा आसान काम कर आप इस ऐप से पैसे कमा सकते हैं। प्ले स्टोर पर मैं आपको दिखा देता हूँ, 1 मिलियन से भी ज़्यादा इसके डाउनलोड्स हैं। ठीक है, तो दोस्तों आप भी इस तरह इस पर काम करेंगे तो आपको भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा अच्छी अर्निंग होगी। ठीक है, ये चेक करें।
Help you with, first, you practice using the words that you have learned in written form. That means you're basically pushing the words to come out of the passive box in your head and go towards the active box. And secondly, this will help you in the review stage, which we're going to talk about now. How will you review? From time to time, go back to your notebook, and then instead of reading the words and their meanings, read the sentences that you have written, or the short paragraphs that you have written at the end of it. Now, how is this helpful? First, you will see the words in context. You're not seeing the words alone, but in a text. Second, the text is written by you. So, it's very familiar for you. And third, because they all relate to the same topic, you can easily categorize them in your head. And the next time you're talking about that topic, bam, they're there. So the overall diagram is like this. You use text, audio, or video to learn new words, and then you add them to your passive vocabulary knowledge. If you do not practice, you will forget. But if you follow the WPR steps, you will activate your vocabulary, and eventually your activated vocabulary will be used in spoken or written English. And that's it. Next time you're learning new words, follow this method. Give it a try. And then let me know how it went. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. If you want to have the summary of this lesson and my other lessons on YouTube in one PDF file, you can simply download my Ultimate English book, which is for free for my YouTube subscribers. This book has more than 500 pages of lesson summaries. That is words or phrases or idioms or collocations with their meanings and example sentences and beautiful pictures, all for free. And to get this, you can simply click on the link above my head, go to my website, type in your name, email address, country, and click download. Get the book in your inbox. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and click subscribe if you're new to my channel. See ya.
So just overall, I enjoy
To
that.
be able to really tell others what you really want to say.
I love the new songs. I care.
But other than that, it was fine.
And
Yeah, everything is fine.
Hello, my name is Maddie from POC English. Learning English can be challenging. It requires consistency, discipline, a good teacher, and plenty of resources. But if you power through and overcome these challenges, it can drastically change your life. Now, in this lesson, I have some amazing guests for you who are going to share their journey of learning English with us. First, let's get to know them.
Hi, my name is Nadia and I'm Swiss. Hi, my name is Iliana and I'm French.
My name is Andrew. I'm from China. Hi, my name is Abdulwahid. I'm from Saudi Arabia.
Can you tell us briefly about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Grew up in Switzerland, studied business, then came to London. Again, studying business, basically. What else?
Where are you studying right now?
At Imperial. Forgot to mention that.
It's a big thing.
I was born and raised in China. Like only been to UK for like it's my second year here, and like I have a fitness fashion clothing brand back in China. Did it like since 2018, and like overall I'm a fitness active person. Always like a passion for entrepreneurship.
So I'm French. I've been raised in France, in Paris, in the 16th arrondissement of Paris. I played piano my whole life. So it's been like almost 22 years. I'm 24, but it's been 22 years that I'm playing. I studied here at Imperial this year. Before I did ESCP, a French business school. So I traveled. I lived in like. So the first year was in London. The second year was in Torino in Italy. The third year was in Berlin. So it was really nice. What else? Yeah, I love London. I really love this city, and this is part of my identity. I really feel good here.
Are you planning to stay?
Yeah, I'm doing everything to stay here.
My name is Abdulwahid, as you know, 28 years old, one of the oldest in class.
Nobody beats me.
Okay. I studied product design. I graduated in 2019 before COVID, so I'm one of the golden age ones. COVID graduating. And I worked for sales for 4 years.